Well guys, in less than a week, I will be loading all of my camping gear into my Zenith cruiser and flying out to Mexico, Missouri for the Zenith Homecoming. You know, my goal for this airplane is to keep it looking as brand new as I can for as long as I can. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I clean my airplane and how I keep it looking brand new. You might be surprised at some of the areas you might not think about to clean. Now the first step in keeping my airplane clean when I want to wash it is to pull it outside into the sun, and I'll wipe it down with a real nice soft cloth, and I'll mix up a little bit of Dawn dish soap in a bucket of warm water, and I will just wipe down the entire outside of the airplane. Wiping down the outside of the airplane obviously includes the wheel pants. And one of the things I think is important to do, did I just say I think is important to do, is to clean the bottom of the wheel pants. Because there's a lot of dirt and mud and crud that gets on the bottom, and you certainly don't want to have people looking at dirty wheel pants when you're buzzing their house. Usually I will clean the bugs off the leading edge with a foaming cleaner. So once the bugs are removed, then again I just take my wet rag and wipe down the entire leading edge and top and bottom of the wings. Now after I get the main wash done, I bring it back in the hangar, and now it's time to really detail it. For that, I'm going to mostly use Flitz and this Clearview foaming cleaner. Now guys, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I just like the products. Again, I will use the foaming cleaner to remove the bugs from the propeller. Once it's clean though, I'll take my Flitz and I'll polish up the nickel leading edge. I'll make it as shiny as I possibly can, because shiny equals more betterer. In fact, I will shine all of the aluminum on the airplane with the Flitz, including my pitot tube. Now some of you guys may have painted your pitot tube, and that's just fine, but since I left mine bare aluminum, it does look really nice once it's polished. Now what I'm going to do for the rest of the airplane is really look at all the leading edge places, or places that are open to the relative wind. And one of those places on my airplane is up in here. And this is actually pretty clean right now because I just cleaned it a couple weeks ago. But this area in here will be almost black just from dirt in the air hitting that and sticking to there. So I get a rag and really make sure I clean around that bolt and everything I can inside here. There's some spots in here that I can't reach with my finger, so I'll use a little wooden stick to poke the rag up in there and wipe away the dirt. Another spot that's easy to miss is this right here. Obviously this is open to the relative wind, so that gets a lot of dirt on it and bugs. I've got a little bit of that foam cleaner on there, and I'll just make sure I clean the leading edge of this block. Got some bugs on the wing still. I need to clean this. I flew this on a grass field the other day. Now I got grass and bugs all over it. But all right, so I've cleaned this area. And now one of the other places you might not think to look, but on the head of these bolts, you'll get some buildup on there. Not only the bolts, but see this line right here, the edge of this steel piece? You'll also get some dirt and stuff built up on there. So I kind of take my fingernail with the rag and clean that leading edge, and then I wipe around all of the bolts too to get all of that off. And I'll also do that to the front edge or the leading edge of the nuts and bolts in the strut. And that gets all that gook from the air off of those. Now, of course, I'll get my landing gear also, but I'll do that later. Now, another place I'll clean is the leading edge of the doorknob, because again, that can get bugs or dirt from the air on it because it's facing the front of the airplane. So we'll just give that a good scrub down, and that keeps that nice and clean. Another area you might want to consider is, now I have a fairing on mine, you might have a rubber boot or whatever you have, but I can take my fingernail again and just clean the leading edge of this fairing, just like that, to get any dirt from the front edge there. And don't forget your tie-down rings. You'll notice some dirt and stuff on the leading edge here and maybe on the inside here. So I've already wiped that one down. All right, now, if you got a Zenith or something with flapper-ons, there's quite a few places I'll clean in here. And one of them, of course, is just the leading edge of the flapper-on itself. Definitely want to get any bugs and stuff off of there. I'll clean the leading edge of the counterweights here. Also, the leading edge of this bracket right here, all the way from the bottom of the wing down, I'll clean. And now also, if you look at this here, you can see the grime I'm talking about that builds up on the leading edge. So with this hinge here, I'm going to try to get my stick with the rag back in there to clean that off, and then I'll clean the leading edge of the bolt also. Here's what it looks like after it has been cleaned. Now, I don't know if you guys have this issue with your fuel caps if you have a Zenith, but mine tend to leak, and you can see this nasty mess it leaves on the top of the wing. And it's kind of like a gummy, sticky residue. And I thought it was coming from the fuel caps, and it's not. I took my fuel caps out and resealed them. Where it's coming from is, if I can reach there, is right around here. So if you vented your fuel caps from the top, mine are leaking. And I even took this off and put sealant, but no matter what I do, they still leak. And that foaming cleaner doesn't even touch this stuff at all to help remove it. But what I found cleans it perfectly is Dawn dish soap. And what I'll do is I just, hold on, my thing's almost empty. I just put some on like that, and I take my fingers like this, and I just wipe it away. After a little bit of rubbing, there's a really tough spot right there, but just rubbing it away like that, you can start to feel it take it off. So this cleans it off really nice, and that's it. I just go over the whole thing like this, then I'll wash it off with some clean water, and I will show you what it looks like afterwards. All right, I'll see how good you can tell here, or if you can tell, but here's the spot that I just did right here, and you can see that it's gone. And then up here, I just got to do from there up. But you can see the difference that makes, so it works really well. Now, I do also polish the aluminum tube on my fuel vents, but I've noticed over the years they don't really polish as nicely as they used to, but it's still better than having them dull. And for those of you with the eagle eyes, yes, I know this says 13 gallons when they're 15-gallon tanks, but when I made this placard, I actually thought they were 13. And I've just never got around to changing that. I actually made new placards here that has the 13 gallons up in the circle. So I haven't bothered fixing it yet because one of these days I'm going to peel this off and put one of the new stickers on it. Since we're talking about cleaning all of the leading edges, don't forget to clean the leading edges of your antennas because you will notice some dirt on those also. And then moving towards the back of the airplane, One of the areas I notice it gets really dirty is this leading edge right here. Mine is actually pretty clean right now because, like I said, I actually just cleaned the airplane a couple weeks ago, but you want to get a rag and make sure you clean in here also on that leading edge. One of the other things I do, which I've shown you guys before, is since these are aluminum screws, they polish up really nice. So I'll take all the screws out and use my flits to polish those. Now, luckily for me, I just did this a couple weeks ago, so they're still pretty shiny, so I'm not gonna do that again right now. But what I will do is use my flits to polish these. I think these rudder stops look really good polished instead of painted. And as I've mentioned before, there's two reasons why I polished mine instead of painting them, is because I did think it would look good polished. It kind of matches the polished landing gear. So I wanted to have them nice and shiny. But the other reason is if they're painted, every time your rudder hits the stop, it's gonna start chipping that paint away. And then you got a piece that's painted with a bunch of chipped paint on it that doesn't look good. So those are the two reasons why I left mine polished. And probably about twice a year, I come in here with just a little bit of flits and polish them. There, that's done. You can see it only takes a minute to do. I'll use that same foaming cleaner to clean the inside and the outside of all the windows and also the bottom of the airplane. But one of the areas I see that most people seem to miss the most is on the inside of the plane. Sometimes on the forums, people will ask questions about rudder pedals or something, and they'll show a picture of their forward cockpit area here, and it's amazing how much dust and dirt and stuff is up there. Even in my airplane, there's a little bit in there now that I'm going to clean, but all of this area should be kept clean up in here too. Obviously, this is where your feet go, so there's always little pebbles and grass and dirt and things like that falling off your shoes and ending up here. So this is an area I also really try to keep clean. Well, cleaning your airplane certainly isn't rocket science, but since I was cleaning mine to get it ready for the Zenith fly-in, I thought I'd just take you through it and show you some of the areas that I pay particular attention to when I'm trying to keep my airplane looking brand new. Make sure yours is clean because I will be inspecting at the fly-in.